Hello everybody, my name is Lily, and today I want to answer the question, is the Chicago Cultural Museum worth your time? The rules are simple. I will be rating the Chicago Cultural Museum based off of 5 categories, each being ranked 1 through 5. The categories for today are enjoyment, art installments, cultural diversity, organization, and time value. With all that out of the way, I will see you guys after the Chicago Cultural Museum. I am back, and I have to say I was pleasantly surprised. I have never been to the Chicago Cultural Museum before. It's one of those places where you know it exists, but you don't really know where. And I actually found out that it is directly across from Millennium Park and Maggie Daley Park. It's a giant building. I don't know how I ever missed that in the past. It is right there. It is really easy to find. It's on the Magnificent Mile, and I had fun. Let's go ahead and get into those categories. Starting off with enjoyment was a 4. It is this massive building. It feels like I am in this grand luxury building, which I really liked. I had tons of footage of just the ceiling, because the ceiling in a couple places was just so beautiful. Oh, this building is so pretty. The architecture is gorgeous. And on top of that, there is lots to see. There is stuff happening year-round, and even when you first enter, there is a little visitor center where there is a wall with a whole bunch of posters that people put up all the time telling you about new cultural activities happening in Chicago. For example, right now as of recording this, there is one that is called 100 Free Acts of Theater. That one is pretty easy as it sounds. It's to share theater with the world that is free for all of those in Chicago. And there's always stuff happening like that, so Chicago Cultural Museum is a really big hub for all of that. Next up is art installments. That is the big thing with the Chicago Cultural Museum, is the art. This time, also, I should probably specify by saying, art installments got a 3. It is average, and this is the part where I'm going to be revealing myself a lot right now. It is average. I liked it. The theme currently happening is architecture in action, as well as motherhood. And I really like the architecture area, but I really didn't like the motherhood one. And that is just because I am not the best with modern art. I kind of have a hard time understanding it. I'm gonna bring up a really weird example right now, and that is in the Art Institute of Chicago. One of the things they have up there in their modern art section is just an unfinished sink. I don't remember what the context behind the sink is. I remember when I saw it, I was flabbergasted. I was looking at this in a museum with grand works of art, because how did someone manage to just not finish their sink and then just call it a day? That is the kind of thing where I don't understand art. I understand there's probably a pretty big significant meaning behind it, but for me, I just have a really hard time understanding it. For me, I am autistic. Some things are just not for me, and things like that are definitely not for me. I can't really see what I'm supposed to be looking at. Though I understand what is probably I'm meant to see is the meaning and action behind it. But that is my way of talking about why I don't understand it without talking about specific art installments, because I do not want to accidentally insult any of the artists who put their heart in their soul, because motherhood is an incredibly impossible task, and I just know that these women put everything into these pieces, and I did like some of them. There was this one where it was a set of 3 silhouettes, all with drawing of roots, and I got that one. That one was meant to be about how women have silent acts of strength and having to take care of others, and how they truly are the root of everything for a child. I really like that. That one I really like. The other art installments I was not the biggest fan of. Some of them I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, kind of looks cool. And others I was just, I don't understand what I'm looking at. But of course, art is very much so, it is subjective, it is for each person. But for me, the art was just average. Let's talk about the architecture. This was another one where some I was like, ooh, this is really cool, and others where I was like, ooh, what the heck am I looking at? This one was all about the changing architecture in our city and about how architecture changed in general over time. Some of these areas I really liked. For example, my favorite within that architecture area was this structural house. The top part of it was literally just a house, so it's kind of like you lifted up the exterior house to see the interior, And I thought that was such a cool idea and such a great way to show off architecture. Another one was an excellent, I think, just rendition that was kind of inspired by Chicago architecture of being around a lake. And in general, there was a lot of pieces in there that kind of showed off real architecture and real architectural designs. The big thing I saw when I first entered was to my right. There was these 4 white pieces of architecture showing off different building designs. I thought that was a great way to show off the different forms of that architecture takes place in different countries and different parts of the world. I really liked the architecture one a little bit more than the motherhood one because, to be mean here, there was one where it was just a stuffed fish in a bedazzled basketball hoop. And I didn't understand that one. I read it and I still did not get it. I'm assuming there was this really fun meaning behind it, but I did not get it. And that's kind of my example for how absurd I think modern art kind of feels to me. Once again, I fully believe this artist put their heart and soul to it, and I have my hats off to them. You are doing something I could never do, but I wish I understood it better. I laugh, but I truly do wish I could just understand it because it is one of the many mysteries of the world I just cannot get. But both art installments were really good, and on top of it, there is just art everywhere to be seen. The place, honest to God, feels like a maze, but there is art everywhere. There is poster designs, there is art installments, so much to see there. Next, cultural diversity, which got a 5. Every corner of this place encourages cultural diversity. There is artists from every single background known to man, and even in the gift shop, there is this gigantic poster of Chicago with different shapes and then different colors, and it's meant to represent, you can put them on there, you can talk about where you live, where you've told not to go, and where you like to go, and then the colors represent different general demographics, that being, I believe, white, Asian, Latino, Black, and I think something else. It might have been in just another category, but it was really interesting to see the shifting perspectives that there are within how we view Chicago in the different places. So that was fun. But cultural diversity is everywhere, and if you are a big person into DEI, this is an excellent place to go. Next up is organization, which is the only place where I feel the Chicago Cultural Museum lacks, and I gave it a 2. I felt like I was in the infinite IKEA of museums. I felt like every single turn I made, I was in a whole new area, and I had no idea how I got there. There were multiple times where I felt like I had entered the back rooms or I had entered somewhere I was not supposed to go, and I wasn't allowed to be there. This place is really hard to navigate, and I bet you $1,000,000 there was a ton of places that I even missed just because I had no idea where I was going. And let me tell you, there was not a single map in sight. Maybe there is a map that I could not find, but I did not see a singular map. There was signs everywhere, but those signs were not helpful at all. And the staircase is weird. In general, the architecture is fantastic, but oh my God, is it hard to navigate. Even trying to leave, I had no idea where to go. I had no idea what floor I was even on. At one point, the elevator said I was on the 4th floor, but the sign said I was on the 3rd floor, and it turns out I was not on the 3rd floor, so I don't know why the plaque said that. So please get your organization together. I had no idea where I was going, and I could not figure it out for the life of me. I kind of just wandered. At some point, I managed to find the exits. Finally, time value, which got a 4. This is an excellent spot to see if you're coming into the city, or if you're just looking for something to do. There is always something to see. It is well worth your time, even though you will feel like you are in the back rooms and you have no idea where you're going, and you might be going a little bit crazy. And I imagine that if you're high, this place feels like a fever dream. So hey, if that is your cup of tea, smoke up a joint and get on in there. You will have the time of your life. Let's go ahead and get into the totals. The Chicago Cultural Museum got an average score of 3.6 and a total score of 18, making it a little slightly above average place to go. Do I think the Chicago Cultural Museum is worth your time? Yes, I do. I think despite its kind of low score, it is well worth the time. I think it is fantastic for anyone to come see. Young or old, well in Chicago, or very far out. There's plenty of places to just sit and relax. There's enough space for everybody. And in general, it is a place you should see. Even if you're just looking for a rest, there are so many beautiful areas to just sit and just take in the views that I could not recommend this place enough. If you guys enjoyed this video, which I hope you did, I enjoyed making it, then go ahead and like and subscribe, and I will see you guys all next time. Bye!